It is June 1944, Normandy, France. Somewhere behind a wall of hedgerows, thick, ancient, suffocating, a single Allied tank sits perfectly still. Its engine is off. Its crew is barely breathing. And outside, less than 400 yards away, 3 German Panther tanks are rolling directly toward them. What happens next will become one of the most extraordinary single-vehicle engagements of the entire Second World War. One tank, one crew, a weapon the Germans never saw coming. Stay with us, because what Sergeant Robbie Harris and his men do next, you will not believe. By June 1944, the bloodiest fight in Normandy isn't happening on the sand. It's happening here, in the Bocage. Ancient earthen banks, knotted roots, green walls thick enough to swallow a tank whole. Every sunken lane is a potential ambush. Every tree line, a gun barrel you can't see until it fires. The Allied advance is grinding. The Panzer the Panther, is cutting through Allied armor like a scythe through wheat. Its 75mm gun is lethal beyond 1,000 meters. Its frontal armor is impenetrable to most Allied weapons. But the British have an answer, sitting right now, perfectly hidden near the village of Villers-Bocage. It is called the Sherman Firefly, and it has a secret. That secret is about to make 3 of Germany's finest tanks completely irrelevant. Stay with us. The commander is Sergeant Robbie Harris, 24 years old, Sheffield, North Africa veteran. He has seen what a Panther round does to a standard Sherman, and to the men inside it. That knowledge doesn't leave you. It changes how you breathe, how you give orders, what you're willing to do. Harris carries it quietly. That's what makes him dangerous. Beside him, Corporal Danny Webb, 22, the gunner. He has a gift and an almost unnatural stillness under pressure. Even now, with Panther engines growling outside the hull, Webb's hands rest on the traverse controls as though he's waiting for a bus. Below them, Private Tommy Finch, 19 years old. His job, heaving the Firefly's enormous 17-pounder shells into the breach. Heavy, awkward, unforgiving of hesitation. A loader who fumbles costs his crew 3 seconds. 3 seconds is the difference between firing first and not firing at all. Tommy has practiced this motion every night for 3 months. At the controls, Private Jack Owens, the driver. In the hull, Private Alfie Brooks, hearing everything through a slit of glass, controlling almost nothing. 5 men, 32 tons of steel, and a gun nobody on the other side of these hedgerows knows exists. On the other side of the Bocage, Hauptmann Klaus Berger commands a column of Panzer Panthers. Berger fought on the Eastern Front. He knows armored warfare instinctively, economically. His Panthers are the best tanks on this battlefield, and he knows it. His lead Panther noses forward slowly, cupola open, eyes on the tree line, mist in the low fields, visibility limited. Berger isn't worried. The Allies in this sector have only Shermans, the standard variant, the one his crews can kill at any range, any angle. He's not wrong about the Shermans. He just doesn't know about this one. He can see the lead Panther now, just its nose, pushing through the far hedgerow. Slow, scanning exactly the wrong direction. Harris keeps his voice barely above a whisper. Not yet. Corporal Webb has his sights centered on the Panther's hull, breathing slowed, hand resting lightly on the traverse control. Not yet. Behind him, Tommy Finch grips around with both hands, staring at the back of Webb's neck, waiting. Terrified in the way that only 19-year-olds can be, completely, silently, without complaint. The Panther moves forward, 20 meters, then another, and then it stops. The Panther's commander has seen something. He's reaching for his radio. Harris has 3 seconds before this ambush becomes a firefight on the enemy's terms. A shadow. A shape in the hedgerow that isn't quite right, too straight. Too deliberate, too still in a landscape that moves with the wind. The Panther commander's hand goes to the radio. "Now," says Sergeant Harris. In the same instant, Corporal Danny Webb squeezes the trigger. The 17-pounder fires. A concussion that compresses the air, rattles teeth, stuns the mind for a half-second. The breech slams rearward. Spent casing ejects in a burst of smoke and heat. The round travels at devastating velocity. The lead Panther never has a chance. The shot strikes at the gun mantle, one of the few points where even a Panther's armor cannot stop a 17-pounder at close range. Inside the crew compartment, catastrophic. Fire. Secondary explosion as ammunition ignites. The Panther convulses and stops, dead, blocking the lane. 1 second of silence inside the Firefly. Then Tommy Finch slams another round into the breech. "Loaded!" The second Panther's commander knows the hit came from the left, but the Bocage is folding the sound back on itself, making the source impossible to pinpoint. Webb already has it in his sight. Fire. The round catches the second Panther in the side as it traverses. Lower hull, driver's compartment. Catastrophic penetration. It lurches into the embankment and goes still. 2 Panthers, 2 shots. Now, Sergeant Harris makes a decision that will be studied in armored training for decades. He moves. "Driver, advance, 15 meters left now!" The Firefly bursts through the embankment in a shower of dirt and foliage. For 1 terrible second, the Firefly is in the open. The third Panther fires. The round misses by less than 2 meters, striking the embankment where the Firefly was sitting 4 seconds ago. Webb finds the target, through the rolling smoke, through the displaced earth, through the shock of a round that missed them by meters. He finds it. Fire. The round strikes the Panther's glacis plate, and the 17-pounder's kinetic energy at this range is enough. Just enough. Smoke pours from the hull. It stops moving. 3 Panthers, 3 shots. Hauptmann Berger orders an immediate withdrawal. He doesn't know what just killed 3 of the best tanks in the German inventory. He only knows that something in that hedgerow did it in under a minute. He retreats. Inside the Firefly, nobody speaks. The engine idles. Cordite so thick it coats the throat like copper. Outside, 3 Panthers are burning, their ammunition cooking off in ragged detonations that shake the earth beneath the hull. Tommy Finch, 19 years old, leans back and stares at the turret ceiling. His hands are shaking now. They weren't shaking during the fight. Not once. Sergeant Harris opens the commander's hatch. 3 of Germany's finest tanks sit destroyed in a Norman lane that smells of burning fuel and scorched earth. He should feel triumphant. He doesn't. Not exactly. Because somewhere in those burning hulls are German crewmen. Some made it out. He can see figures stumbling through the smoke. Some didn't. War is not a film. The cost falls on both sides of the hedgerow. Harris reaches for his radio. Reports the contact. "Confirmed. Well done, Sergeant." The Sherman Firefly was never supposed to be a wonder weapon. It was a stopgap. A standard Sherman hull, the same tank German crews destroyed with confidence, rebuilt around the British 17-pounder anti-tank gun. The turret was redesigned, the loader's position reconfigured. The radio relocated to an armored box on the rear hull just to make room for the breach. Ugly cramped, but it could kill a Panther. The Germans understood the threat quickly. Within weeks, tank commanders across the front received a standing order. Identify Fireflies first. Destroy them before engaging anything else. The British response? They painted part of the barrel a lighter color to make it appear shorter from a distance. A camouflage solution. For a camouflage problem. Fought in a landscape made entirely of camouflage. The Bocage stripped away every advantage. Numbers, air support, the strategic picture, and reduced it to the most brutal arithmetic. Crew against crew. Gunner against gunner. Nerve against nerve. Harris and his men won that arithmetic. Sergeant Robbie Harris survived Normandy. He served until the end of the war. He came home. He rarely spoke about that morning in detail, but as he reportedly told a friend years later, "3 tanks gone. That's 15 men, give or take. You don't celebrate that, you just keep going. The Bocage has returned to farmland now. If you drive those lanes today, the earth keeps its secrets, but here and there you'll find the evidence." A bank punched through in the summer of 1944 that never quite grew back the same way. The land remembers even when we forget. What happened in these fields mattered. The Firefly proved that Allied armored doctrine could be adaptive, lethal, and decisive. That superior German steel was not an unbeatable equation if you had the right weapon, the right ground, and 5 men who trusted each other completely. 5 men, 32 tons of steel, who held their breath and waited and got it exactly right. If this story gave you something a textbook never quite does, you know why this channel exists. Subscribe. Every week, War Chronicles pulls out the stories most accounts leave on the cutting room floor, the overlooked names, the 11-minute engagements that changed the campaign. Leave a comment. What should we cover next? The Eastern Front? The Pacific? The air war over Germany? We read everyone. And stay with us. Our next episode goes inside one of the most brutal tank engagements in American military history, the Ardennes. December 1944. The ground is frozen. The roads are choked with snow. A German winter offensive has torn a gap in the Allied line wide enough to drive an army through. The men who stopped it were not supposed to be there. We'll tell you how. This is War Chronicles. History is not made by armies. It is made by individuals inside machines, behind sights, in the instant before they pull the trigger.